Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin, and joined also, not as always,
Special guest.
Chandler's worst half, Gus's dad, my Stampede partner, Andrew the Guenther. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Excited to be here. What an honor. Thanks for having me.
I'm outnumbered this week.
Yeah,
I feel like anything I say is going to be questioned by multiple people now.
You're fighting a two-front war tonight, for sure.
Well, my partner wouldn't come on. He's not entertainment enough to be on this. So you're welcome. That was a compliment.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And he is Jerry's son.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, he is what he is. So that's what we got there. So.
All right.
All right. Well, most times when we have guests, first question we ask is about their golf story. What is your golf story?
Give it to us.
So I grew up in a home that, sports were kind of everything. My sister played tennis. She was a pretty serious tennis player. Played in high school, could have played in college, decided to give it up. And then I grew up playing football, baseball, basketball until I got to high school, and it kind of became baseball. But all growing up, my dad, we'd go play at the local little par 3 Lake Gloria. I've heard it mentioned a few times here.
Heck yeah, love that place.
On Back 9 Six-Pack, and we played there a few times. And I've always enjoyed the game, but it was always something that, it was more just like, hey, it's on the side. It's something else to do. And I'd go play here and there maybe 2 or 3 times a year, all through high school, all through college. And then, once you get out of college and, you stop doing all the fun things.
Not playing baseball anymore.
Not mascotting anymore.
Hold on. Can we just take a quick timeout real quick?
Sure.
You need to explain that, because I think most people that are going to listen to that, they're going to be like, mascotting, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, and I think I went, 60 seconds there, which is a lot longer than I usually do before throwing in the college mascot thing. So I was the Bearcat at the University of Cincinnati. Absolutely loved it. Huge Bearcats fan still. Season ticket holder, basketball and football. So that took up most of my time in college. And we'd go out and play every once in a while. But then after college, you start working and you start looking for something to do. You're not going to go out and have a pickup baseball game. You're not going to run full court fives or anything like that. And so we picked golf back up a little bit. I started working with our mutual friend, Nick Gray, and, that kind of got me back into golf and became something I started to take a little more seriously and absolutely love it.
All right. Before we got to keep the clubs you used to play. Mm-hmm. Origin story of the clubs.
Yeah, so those were my uncles. He passed away in 2007 after a battle with cancer. And so I think they're from 96.
They were sick.
I mean, they were
full disclosure.
Greatest clubs in the world. The Ping ISI White Dots.
Spin them out of the rough.
I think they were designed for somebody that's about 6'4", 6'5". I am not. And so we not much forgiveness on those bad boys, but hey, when you run into one, it would go. So that's it. Yeah.
I love them. You might need to bring those back. Actually,
they're not legal anymore. They're not. Not that we're worried.
Who says?
That.
Allegedly.
Yeah, not that we're worried about that.
The USGA wants to roll back the golf ball. No one wants to do that. So keep the Ping I2s in play.
I'm with you.
Awesome.
I'm with you. So that's my golf story.
Yeah, I feel like we recruited you pretty hard to the Elks, put the full court press on you.
Yeah.
Finally got you to join. Was it last year? No, 2 years.
2 years ago.
Yeah. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And yeah, absolutely.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's story that goes out there. It's like, someone was like giving me the hard sell, and then I finally go out there. Because I got the hard sell from Cody. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what a cool place. A cool place. 27 holes. They keep it in great condition. They most affordable country club in Cincinnati.
No, 100%.
Best people, most blue-collar country club that there is.
I forgot something from your intro. I wanted to refer to you as the People's Elk, which I think many people are saying he is the People's Elk. People coming up to me in the streets, just
I give them that.
Sir, Guenth, he's the people's elk. He's the people's elk.
I'm flattered. I try to be an elite elk and follow after you guys who brought me in. So that's what it's all about.
Well, okay. Before we get any farther, we bring Guenth in, and all of a sudden I'm drinking bourbon. But let's go ahead and crack the Miller Lite. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, the cork pop.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know if my body can handle that right now.
And big shout out. I've listened to, I think it was 2 episodes. I think that was episode 12. Big shout out to Dan Francis. I loved listening
Dan's
to that.
the man.
I mean, and then when he brought up that I like to drink some of that brown Kentucky water.
You were on it. You were definitely on it.
I knew. It was time we're bringing in the Buffalo Trace and we're getting after
Dan
it.
will be so proud when he listens to this.
For sure.
I love it.
All right. Speaking of the Elks, we tried to play Saturday.
Tried.
I had the whole game organized. I felt so good about my process. We were playing golf.
You were playing very good golf.
Guenth was playing very good
I
golf.
was playing very sad golf.
Okay, well, all right. Let me start at the end. We end up getting through 13 holes. Storm's rolling in. We take shelter. Biblical rain hits. We get a break. Try to run back. Round 2 of the biblical rain. We're all drenched. Prior to that, I'd shot 37 on the blue side. I was 1 over through 13 holes. Guenth, you were...
I was, for the first time in my life, I was even through 9 holes. I had a birdie and I had a bogey. And it was just a magical day. I've never experienced anything like that except for one other time where you can do what you want with the golf ball. And it was the most fun I've ever had playing golf.
I had the saddest 9 pars in my life.
It
was so sad.
You were doing fine. You were piecing it together until that fateful moment on the tee at 5.
That lady took my ball.
Allegedly.
I did not hit that bad of a drive, and it should have been right there where it always is, and it was gone. And she kept looking back at me, which made me more mad that she kept looking back. So I'm like, you're definitely guilty. You see me driving around looking for a golf ball, but you picked it up. But joke's on her, free marketing. There you go.
Yeah, that was true ambush marketing, you hitting into their group on the other fairway. So.
And then she steals my ball.
Yeah.
Possibly
deserved.
Yeah. A true ambush.
True ambush there, yeah.
And from there, it was just,
sad.
You gave a nice hammer throw club toss on 17. Made it halfway to the hole.
I remember
almost farther than your ball went.
I think I drove by you and I was like, that was a good throw.
Then you proceeded to ask me, who's walking, to pick your club up.
But my partner Aaron picked my club up like a true partner would.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Anyway, sad day for the rain, but I think the boys are trending a little bit heading into our biggest week of the year.
I'll tell you, if you guys do that in a match this weekend, there is no one going to touch you. Just full disclosure.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Yeah, and that's the thing is with this Stampede, I think we have our group. We got a group of 4 guys that we try to play as much as we can. It doesn't happen often, but it's kind of similar to like teammates in NASCAR, where it's like, hey, when it comes down to it, I want to beat you.
Yeah.
But I want you to win if it's not going to be
You're also
us.
going to maybe let them draft off you if you're in 32nd place and you're getting lapped.
Correct.
Let them draft.
Right. I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. You're going to do the same to us. But if we're not there at the end and you are, nobody's going to be cheering harder. So
I'd agree with that. I think last year, there's video of me.
Yes.
I think I fist pumped that putt on 18 almost as hard as you did.
All right.
Yeah.
Time out.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
First.
Sorry.
No, all good. We're all excited.
Oh, no.
I want to hear what happened to you today at Kenwood Country Club, the Kenview course, right?
Yes.
USAM qualifier.
Also known as Ken Hill.
Ken Hill. Okay.
Ken Hill? Ken Hill?
Ken Hill.
Oh. Okay.
Literally a hill.
Okay.
So, I don't know where I start. So I got off to an okay start. I think I was 1 over through 6 holes. Wasn't hitting the ball bad. I felt like I was hitting it okay. And 16th hole out there, but my 7th hole, just misclubbed, airmailed the green, take triple. I wasn't mad because I'm like, I hit the shot what I wanted to do, right? And it just whenever misclubbed. Like, it just happened. I haven't played that course in 15 years. So I hit the ball a lot different than I hit it 15 years ago. Kind of scrap it together. Just made a lot of dumb bogeys in the first round. Ended up shooting 76. What did I say? I think I had... Let's pull up the stats here from the first round.
You said 10 greens, 33 putts. Shot a 76.
Yes. Yeah. So, not great. The course wasn't playing... The greens out there are the protection of the course. It's only 6,500 yards, but they were rolling 12 and a half. You get on the wrong side of a hole, it can be lights out. Like, you got to be on the right sides of the hole, stuff like that. Go to round 2. I am barely hanging on, by the way. Like, I go. Okay, let's back up a second.
Physically, mentally, what?
Everything.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I'm out of it, but I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. Okay, I don't quit.
Unlike someone we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But I'm not a quitter. I'm not. We rag on guys for WD and all the time. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I could easily have done that after the first 18. Like, look, I'm out of it. Let's go home.
Staring down the barrel of another 18.
Yeah,
Hoofing it.
On a absolute one of the hilliest courses in Cincinnati.
Pushing your clubs.
Pushing my clubs. So let's backtrack a little bit because I was telling you guys before we came on that Danielle, when I was telling her about today, she was like, oh my God, like you played with 2 18-year-old kids. You are 100% all over people's Snapchats right now. The first instance comes after my first 18. I'm very sweaty. I brought a change of clothes because I'm a professional when it comes to preparing for stuff like this. I was like, I want a fresh shirt. I want, fresh hat for the second round. Like, I don't need to change everything else. Like, there's no reason to dirty more clothes than we need to. So I get it. I'm like, I'm going to go sit in my car and turn on the AC. I've got a couple calls to make. And I'm just like, I have my sandwich ready to eat. I'm like...
What kind of sandwich?
Turkey and ham.
Okay.
Oh, best of both worlds.
Yeah, turkey ham sandwich. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I'm still sweating with the AC blast. I mean, I'm like, you know what? I got to change my shirt anyway. I'm like, I'm going to take my shirt off. I'm going to eat my lunch. So I'm sitting in my car, eating my sandwich with my shirt off. And then one of the kids I'm playing with, like, walks directly in front of my car. And I'm just shirtless. And he sees me. Like, we make eye contact, It wasn't like he passed and it was like, oh. Like, he sees me with my shirt off, eating a sandwich in my car.
Your grizzly bear ass. Just going to town.
He's never seen that big of a man before. So we start. Okay, so we'll get to the second 18. So I started off I hit a drive on the first hole. I swear it went 75 yards right. Actually wasn't bad. I ended up making bogey. But then I kind of pulled it together. I birdied 2, made some pars, blipped out a couple birdies, and then birdied 8 and 9, made the turn at 2 under, birdied 11. I was 3 under through 11 holes. And the gas tank was like, it wasn't like just flashing like the dots, like, oh, you're almost out of gas, like you better get in the gas station right now. It was definitely like 20 miles to empty, though.
It was beeping.
Like, it was beeping.
Beeping.
The car wanted me to go to the gas station. And we were kind of rolling along. We played our first 9 in like an hour and 50 minutes. I'm like, shit, we're going to be out of here at like 6 o'clock. We get to 15. I end up throwing a bogey in there in 12, but I'm still 2 under. We get to 15. We took an hour and 5 minutes to play the 15th hole because the kid in front of us kept hitting balls out, not hitting a provisional, and keep walking back. He took a 13. And by that point, I had sat down on the cooler. The odds were against me even getting up off the cooler to hit my tee shot on that hole.
The glutes deactivated. you were done.
Yeah. And so I ended up parring that hole. But then I had a 3-putt on 16, then the 17. Okay. We get the 17. This is the largest hill on the course. It's the one you can see from the highway.
Gotcha.
It's straight uphill the entire hole, and the hole's like 420, something like that.
Our buddy Nick texts about it.
Yes.
It's a 45-degree angle.
It's literally a 45-degree angle for 500 yards. And I get about 30 yards into the fairway, and I'm like, nope, not happening. So I get down. I'm laying on the ground. Guys are like in my group are like, what is he doing? Like, I can't walk. Like my I can't walk. Like I was cramping like right above my knee. Like I could not bend my knee to walk. So I'm like laying down in the fairway. I'm like, give me 5 minutes. Like we've got a gap. I'm like, give me 5 minutes. I swear I was like, let me stretch it out a little bit. That is the second time I'm pretty sure I ended up on someone's Snapchat. They're probably like, oh, this fucking 30-year-old guy, like, stretching in the fairway. We got 2 holes left. Like, come on, get up, fatty. Like,
Snapchat, come on, boomers. Fucking threads, all right?
Yeah.
So it's thread famous.
Yeah.
I ended up stretching it out. I'm so worn out by the time I get up. I actually didn't hit a bad second shot. I ended up like left of the green. I ended up making double. And then bogeyed the last hole from like 230 out on the par 5. I was just a wreck after that. But I showed heart.
No doubt.
And we talk about the process all the time, right? I became a better golfer today. I just
agree.
did. You know, so but I'm going to make an announcement. I'm officially retired from the USAM qualifiers. Today was the last straw.
God, did you guys hear all those cameras flashing? Just like,
Yeah.
Today was the last straw.
Yeah. Just wait till we get the Michael Jordan.
You know, and I
I
get
am
in-
back.
yeah.
And I get in there, and it's like this 20-year-old kid, she's 13 under. Like, doesn't even look like he sweated today. Like, he's just like, I'd go 36 more right now. And I'm just like, this is a college tournament, and I am not of college age.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of you just all in on the mid-am. That's the route we got to go.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a grind, and man, it is. I feel that way now, and maybe I change my mind next year, but I decided I'm like, I don't think this tournament's for me anymore. So,
Well, and I feel bad. I think I caddied for you.
You
in
did.
this last year, and that's on me. I should have been there for you this year. I would have stretched you out. I wouldn't have let you lay there.
And it probably would have been 5 minutes. It probably been a couple minutes if you were stretching my
That's
legs
true.
out.
And it's on me because I should have been there to stretch you out. Unfortunately, it sounds like you were out of shirts to change into after laying on the ground. You only had 2, but that's.
But I
that's
told you
on
I
me.
was like,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think a caddy would have changed anything, like as far as like how tired I was, just because of how hard of a walk that is.
Do you have to walk? Because didn't you ride last year?
No, he no,
He rode.
Oh,
he
no.
walked. No, Guenth rode. I walked. And he's like, we're drinking on the back 18. I'm like, that's easy for you to say sitting in a freaking cart.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
I gotta
awesome.
walk. But I'll tell you, TPC, piece of cake walk compared to this place. And it's 500 yards longer. It's just way less this, up and down. I mean, it's really like thinking in hindsight, like TPC, my legs did not feel the way they do right now after TPC. They just don't. Like, that's how hilly this place is. So, I don't know. Well, that's how I feel now. We'll see when I get the next year. But I think all in all, there was a lot of positives today. Like, I take that to the Elks. I'm probably 2 rounds in the 60s. Like, just 1, because I know the course, and 2, I hit the ball well enough today that I would have easily been in the 60s both rounds. So, we'll see. But that was today. It was an adventure. It was.
Speaking of adventures, I think it's time.
I think so, too. Yeah.
This is the 2023 Stampede preview brought to you by Miller Lite, a fine Pilsner beer brewed with the highest quality ingredients. They use choice hops from the Pacific Northwest, as well as a noble Saz hops, and deliver more taste, aroma, and color with just 96 calories per 12 ounces. Get yourself some Gold Tops. How'd I do?
The official drink.
The official beer of the 2023 Stampede.
Great taste, less filling. Miller Lite. I mean, that's Mitch. That was good.
That was
That
good.
was good.
Good.
Let's do it.
good.
Let's do it.
You got me wanting to
Shout out
drink
to our
like 3
first
more of
sponsor.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the first sponsor here on the Back 9 Six Pack Hour. I'm here for 20 minutes and I'm already an hour.
You're influencing.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
do.
what you do.
I'm an influencer. I wear the Patio Beers hat everywhere I go.
So,
Yeah, you talk about the format and how this thing goes down this
well,
week.
first and foremost, we lead off with the Champions Dinner Friday night.
It's called the Champions Putt-Putt
No,
Contest.
the Champions Dinner.
Champions
Have you
Dinner.
decided on the menu? Are we doing a boil?
I think we'll probably do some fried lasagna. We'll probably do a little bit of pizza. I think there'll probably be some
Pep and mushroom.
Yeah, some pepperoni and mushroom pizza.
Okay.
But that's the big thing. And, we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. And so that's why we set the menu the way that we did here for the Champions Dinner.
Real champions when we make it a keg of Mick Ultra or a Miller Lite.
Well, no,
That's what we did for our Champions.
There's no or here. We have
That's what we did for our Champions Dinner. We just did beer.
That was a while
And I think
ago, That was a while
I think
ago.
everybody was very happy with it, to be honest.
All right, all jokes aside.
All right, here we go.
We've talked about the Stampede before, but we'll lay out the ground rules here. The format, you got 5 matches. It's flighted by a handicap. You know the percentage? Like, what is it?
So 75% of your 12-month low high.
Okay, and it's a 2-man best ball. So you're flighted. The pops only come into play if you've got some differing handicaps among you and your partner,
Yep.
really. But what did we have last year? 11 flights? 10 flights?
10 or 11.
10.
Yeah.
So anyway, every flight, there's 5 matches. Whoever has the most points, so it's total holes won, essentially.
Yeah. Yep.
Advances from the flight into the shootout. From there, you start cutting teams every hole
Yep.
till you get to the final 2. Go
But
as
the
many
cool
holes
thing
as it
is,
takes.
you forgot a little caveat.
Sure.
Sunday, if you had a bad Saturday, Sunday highest points getter gets into the shootout.
Yeah, so you have a wild card
So
team
even if you
that'll
don't
get
win
in,
your flight, you can get into the shootout.
which is a nice wrinkle. I like that.
And it's fun because, what is it, 11 teams all teeing off. So 22 guys just all tee off, one right after the other on
It's
the
a
same
debacle.
hole. It's a what, 45-minute first hole?
It's a clusterfuck. It's an official clusterfuck. I'll call it that.
All right, yeah.
Ties are broken with chip-offs.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a good clusterfuck. It's a fun cluster. If you don't make it in, like God forbid, like we all want to make it in, right? But it's just as fun. Not like I know everybody wants to win, but like it's fun behind the greens. You got money, you got bets flying.
And what is it, 150 people
Yeah,
that are wrapped around the green like you're not
wives
going to
come
blast
up.
it into a cart. I mean, it's,
They were dodging some bullets back there last year.
yes.
Guenth, I hope you never get to experience the joy that I did in 2020 when Justin and Ryan won. Me and Derek did not make it out of our flight, so I was back behind the green from the get-go. We're taking bets on over-under, who's hitting the green, who's making what putts.
I think
There's a
Mitch
keg of beer out there.
made me like at least $30 betting behind the green.
I was betting for Justin.
Yeah.
He gave me a wad of cash ahead of time.
I was just like bet. Like just
As
go
he's
back
playing,
there.
I'm making him more money.
Oh.
And
Like it's a good like if you don't make it into the shootout, it's like a really good consolation prize.
it is by far the best weekend of the year.
Not
at
even
our
close.
club.
Not
Not
even
even
close.
And at our age, I think Justin plays more competitive golf than we do, Mitch. But I think that it's something that at our age we get to be competitive again.
Yep.
And I told Bill that we played against last year. I was like, man, I hate that we have to play against you guys because now I have to hate you for 9 holes. It's like you're the nicest guy in the world, but man, I have to hate you for 9 holes now. And to get to be competitive again in life, like that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
It just gets the juices flowing and it's fun because like most of the guys you play, like after you're done playing, like you can go up and like have a beer with them. Like it's not like, but during the round, like I remember like we got fist pumped on and like I thought Ryan was going to kill somebody. But I'm like, dude, he's a nice guy. He made like a 55-footer. I would have fist pumped it too. Honestly, I'd probably walked it in. That's a little more cool these days, but it happens. But like, yeah, I like the competitive juices flowing. That's why I like tournament golf. I can't give it up. And that's why I said previous, like, I'm like, that's how I feel now. But like tournament golf is the best form of golf, especially when you're talking about some kind of match play format.
Especially team match play.
Team
format.
match play format is just, it's the peak of competitive golf. It just is.
when you can pick your team too.
Yes, when you
and
get
when
to
it's
pick
one of
your
your
team.
boys,
Yeah,
it's one of the
yeah.
boys, and it's
Yeah,
it's just like baseball. If somebody pimps a home run after they hit one, the other team's upset.
Yeah.
But we would do the same thing.
Yeah,
Right?
You're only mad because it wasn't you. That
exactly.
Did it,
if I make a big putt, I'm fist pumping.
Yeah, exactly.
It's happening, but if it happens against me, I'm upset.
But that was a good. I do like the way you put that. Like, it's just get the competitive juices flowing. Get a little quiche on the line.
I mean, going back to the competitive juices, like straight up, like I'm pretty sure last year us winning was like the biggest athletic achievement of my life. And like I played a lot of team sports growing up and all that stuff, but like straight up, I think it might have been.
Yeah, I mean, I would, for me, like it would be like a top 2 probably, like
behind your Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah. Which, by the way, my phone started blowing up today, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, look at my phone. I'm like, oh my god, they would announce it today, like while I'm out on the course. But no, it is. It's a big accomplishment. It's not an easy tournament to win. There's guys that have been out there for 30 years that are really good golfers that have maybe won it twice if they're lucky, if they're even, if they're really lucky, if they've won it twice. If they've, most or some have only won it once. Some have never. I was talking to Jeff Ogden the other day, and I was like, "You've won it before," and he goes, "No." He's like, "I made it out of my flight 6 times, and I've never won it."
Yeah,
he's like, and he's never made it past the first hole.
Oh.
And
it's tough, man. And
that first hole is tough because
Jeff's not a bad golfer either. Like, and he gets his strokes and stuff. He's not a bad golfer. It's just, it requires like good golf, like pretty good golf, and just a teensy bit of luck. It really does. Like I argue
that it's not a teensy bit. I think you gotta run into some luck.
You do. Like I remember, like when we won it, like we had 2 chip offs. Like, I hit the first one blind, hit it up there after, 3 inches of rain and hit it to 5 feet, right? We get out of the first chip off. Ryan somehow hits, the collar of the fringe on the second chip off, and it, barely rolls up, and it rolls up to, 3 feet. Normally, that thing would have kicked and ran off. That's lucky. That is not skill. That's lucky. It really is. You hit the collar of the fringe, and it barely rolls. And last year we had a chip in and a freaking chip off. All
right, before we get to specifics,
But it does. So just to lay it out, it requires you do have to play really good golf, and then you need some luck on the way.
I know a lot of people that listen are members of the Elks and our friends, so shout out to all of them for listening.
Yeah.
Those who aren't and might care one single fuck about this, let's lay out the shootout holes. All right. Hole 1 of the shootout, short par 4, dogleg right. Down a hill, back up the hill.
There's get a variety of clubs hit off the tee.
A lot of people will, kind of quote unquote lay up. There's a couple trees to the right that can be problematic for you if you're not long enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine hitting driver with 100 people around the green and just blasting it into all those people. You might get your ball stepped on. Who knows? You might hit somebody. You might get your ball stepped on.
I didn't do it the first time around. But we went into extra holes, and I did it on the second time around, and then I skull fucked one into the carts.
Yeah,
from 30 yards.
So both Guenth and I, we've made the shootout the last 2 years, and both times I laid back and was blocked by the tree, and had to do some sort of punch out or up over and whatever. So it's a tricky hole.
It's a tricky hole
for
it is,
and a lot of people don't get pops there.
No, there's not a lot of pops on that hole, which makes it fun for being the first hole. It's unless you're a 16 handicap, you're probably not getting any shots on that hole.
So then you turn around. This is all on the red course for the first 2. You go to hole 9 on red.
And then that's when people start getting their pops.
People start getting pops. It's a
the low handicaps
par 4.
Yeah, it's a 385. Yeah. Straight out, tricky green, very tricky green.
Super hilly fairway.
Usually that pin's back left, which is the hardest pin on the whole green. But
some people chunk their putts in that quadrant of the green.
Allegedly
chunk putts. But it's not a hard hole, but the green, and that's where things get fun.
Well, you have an uneven
you get guys that hit good shots up there. It's he's not in a good position for a putt. This is going to be a hard 2-putt, even if he's getting a pop.
So after that hole, you at this point, we're cutting down to 4 teams. Go to 1 white. Longer par 4, dog leg left. You got Route 4 to your right. Tractor Supply is lurking across the across
moving
the
traffic is lurking.
Anybody could honk in your backswing. Who knows? So that one, as long as you're right, you're probably okay. It's flatter, no trees to deal with up the right side.
The left can get a little tricky though.
Left gets tricky. You get on a little bit of a side slope. There's trees that can overhang.
And I'll tell you right now, there's nothing harder than hitting a punch shot when the
you got
pressure's
150
on the line.
guys around the back of the green. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that green is fairly flat.
And almost everybody gets pops on that hole.
Yes.
But every once in a while, you get like 1 or 2 guys that don't get pops.
I will say that is it's my second favorite golf shot I've ever hit. Was my approach in on that hole there. I hit I had about 120 out. I had at the time it was a Ping ISI sandwich.
Illegal.
Allegedly illegal. But I'm hitting it in, and Justin, I think you're standing there as the ball's coming in, and you're just waving it in like an air traffic control man.
It was.
Air traffic control man.
I needed it for the over.
It ends up, I think it hits and just sticks because the grooves on the Ping ISIs are questionable at this point.
Okay.
But he's waving it down, and it sticks. And the celebration, he's fist pumping, he's peacock walking all over the place.
Well, because
it was the most fun shot I've ever hit.
I needed it for the over. Like the first 2 people hit the green, I'm like, okay, here we go. I needed 1 more, 2.5. And it hits the back. I'm like, I remember everybody in the like, that's gonna hit the back and bounce off. I'm like, come on, baby. I'm like, down. And it just sticks, and I'm like, all right. But
God, you must have had the complete opposite emotion when I just laid the sod over my wedge.
The good thing is I think I lost my bet at that point, so it didn't hurt as bad, but it would have hurt.
Oh,
that was
everybody, so pretty much everybody gets pops on that hole. There's a select few that from maybe the first flight that wouldn't get a pop there.
Yeah,
you know.
So then you swing back around to 9 white, dogleg right, par 4.
Yeah.
Probably similar length to 9 red, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But there's some trees up the right side, so like if you hit it high, you can take it over them, no problem. A lot of people end up...
Some of the shorter hitters, not so much,
out
maybe.
left, and there's some trees over that way, too.
Not a lot of pops on that hole, though.
Not many pops, and this year they've taken out that bunker short right, which...
will make things interesting.
Will make things interesting.
I think it makes it a lot easier. I mean, last year... there were 3 of us that were right by that bunker.
Yeah,
that you had to hit
and
a flop shot over.
One of them hit it in it.
One person went in.
One hit it way too far. Not you.
One person did.
One person did.
And then
one person hit it way too far, and then we had a 5-foot downhill and a 5-foot uphill to win it.
But it does. It makes it, that bunker made it a little tricky.
Yeah.
Does it take the excitement out of it? Probably not. But
no.
But I don't think so.
Because when people get nervous, they hit shots short.
When you're down to 2 teams at that point, and at that point it's sudden death essentially.
Yeah, that's 2 teams that's 2 teams on that hole.
So this is a good segue into your 2020 win. If it's tied after that, you flip back over to red, and you just start going 1, 2, 3 until it's over.
Yep. We went the hole 2, right?
Hole 2.
Which this is, I think your guys' year was probably one of the first years since I've been there that didn't go to extra holes.
Yeah, because 2021 went to 1.
Cody's went to 2. Ours went to 2. The year after that went to 1.
Yep.
They went 1 extra hole. And then, so you guys, one of the, I guess, 1 year in the last 4 has not had to go to extra holes. So, but...
Well, people struggle with rain. I mean, and some people do. I mean, and that's what you're going to get when you have these tournaments and the weather gets bad. And some people struggle with rain.
All right. Okay.
And wind.
I wasn't going to say it until that comment was brought up. But last year was a rain-shortened tournament. We only had 3 matches. Sunday got completely rained out, but they decided that they had enough time to get the shootout in. and then the gentleman sitting across from me won. We'll call it an asterisk, but if they win this year, then the asterisk comes off. Full disclosure.
So this is like, okay, this is like a half win. We need a win to validate it.
Yeah, you got to win to validate it. And I'll tell you this:
I'll hear
I would. I'm gonna olive branch across the table here. If you make it to the third hole, I would validate your win next year from last year with no asterisks.
That's big of you, truly. Like,
don't even need the win.
I think
you
we
just
made
got to make
the
it
third hole the year prior, but it's okay.
No, but it's fine.
You gotta do it.
Actually, you know what? You make it to the last hole, I will take the asterisks off. He made it seem too easy, so now I've got to take now. That's what happens.
All right. Well, now let's get to the point. We'll talk about our teams. So my handicap sits at 7.1. What are you right now?
I think I am hovering right around a 10.
Is that your low?
And so the low, I think my low is a 6.6.
My low's an 8.9.
So we'll get cut, obviously.
Yeah, that'll get cut.
I'm not too worried about this. I'm just trying to set the scene for anyone listening.
Yeah, let me see what we're at. I don't know what Ryan's. I want to say Ryan's 12-month low is about where he's at now. He's
like
a 6.7.
Yeah, so he's right around what I am.
He was nasty on Saturday.
Yeah.
Front 933.
Well, he had 15 clubs in. So it was a 46.
Oh,
So there's
interesting.
that. My low high right now is plus 0.6. So I'll end up giving up 4 shots.
Okay.
To the course. With how they do the handicaps.
I'll give up to see that.
You do.
You know, my partner was not playing well enough last year for me to give up 4 shots, but I feel like he is this year. And we had some tough scenes out there on stroke holes last year when I was giving up a shot. One in particular, we lost the first 2 holes in a match. I hit one to 4 inches on one of the holes, one of the par 3s I was giving up a shot.
Nice par.
Our playing competitors almost picked up their ball because he was like, as a tap-in birdie, I'm for 4 feet for par. Not even thinking about like, oh, he gives up a shot here. But we ended up tying. Oh, we ended up winning that match. But it essentially is a one-man show at that point because, especially in the par 3s, and 3 of them are par 3s. That's a tough scene. Like,
yeah, especially
birdie. The
flight,
best I can do is probably par unless I have a hole-in-one. And I will tell you, I've never had a hole-in-one, but that would be the saddest hole-in-one I have.
We've heard
nice
that
one from 2.
We've heard on this pod, and I think that would officially count for those keeping track at home.
Oh, it 100% counted. It would just be very sad if we end up tying the hole because
dude, can you imagine making a gross hole-in-one but a net birdie
and tying and then tying the hole like if the other group birdies like. You didn't even win, and you made a hole-in-one.
It's like net skins that day too, yeah. So you don't even win the skin with an ace.
But he wasn't playing. But I think now that like last year was the first time that's happened where I gave up those shots, right? And I just think it was like a shell shock, you know. I don't think we lost every hole that I gave up a shot on, but we never won one. And that's a big deal. I mean, when you're talking about points adding up and this and that, like
for sure,
for 4 holes in 5 matches, we just tie and I know we lost 3 of them for sure. So it's like that's a big deal, you know.
We only won our flight by a half point last year.
Yeah, and then you guys know the year before that, like we lost by a half point.
Right. Yeah.
Now I didn't give up the 5 shots. I think I was like exactly at 0, but it's half points matter, you know. They really do.
And then going back through and like, that 3-footer I missed on 7 on the second match on Saturday.
Yeah. Every putt matters.
But everything's escalated.
But I think my partner's not going to be shell shocked this year. It's like we know it's going to happen. We're prepared. We talked about who's teeing off first on those holes and things like that. How aggressive he wants to play on those holes. So we've talked about it. I think now that we're adjusted to it and we know it's going to happen. Like last year we went in and we were like, all right, how many shots are we going to give up? Because the formula is not like clear cut. It is clear cut. But when you're trying to figure out what holes you're going to stroke on, or in this case, give shots up, we weren't really sure. And then we started getting scorecards and we're like, motherfucker. Like we didn't know until the end of Saturday that I was going to give up shots on the, white and all the courses. But we were definitely shell shocked. So I think this year that we know going in, like, hey, here's your holes. Like, these are the, if you don't play good on any other hole, these are the holes you need to play good on. So, but no, I think we're in a good spot. Like I said today, I felt really good about my game. He played well on Saturday for 9 holes. And yeah, we got to get back in the shootout. We've been out for the last 2 years. Missed it by a half point 2 years ago. We missed it by, I guess, quote unquote, technically missed it by a half shot this year. But that first flight, man, it's a cluster. I mean,
that's a grind.
Even like I remember the year we won, we played really well on Saturday, and we only had like a half point lead. Like, we played really well. And then the year after that, we played really well, and I think we only had a half point lead that year. Like, we went 6.5, 2.5 on somebody, and still only had a half point lead. So it's a tough flight. There's not a lot of blowouts. Every once in a while, that's what kept us out a couple years ago, is a blowout. But not a lot of blowouts in that flight. You know, there's a lot of pars. You got to win holes with birdies. It's a grinder. I love it though. Like, I wouldn't want to be in any other flight.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it just makes you play better. Like when you know, when you know pars aren't going to win holes and birdies have to, like you will play better.
Yeah, or not to like cut you off, but that's the difference between like our flight and like your flight. Like, if you par every hole,
you will win.
We will dominate our flight.
Yeah,
like that's the difference. Like,
would you agree with that, Mitch?
If somebody comes in and pars every single hole,
I said it the other day. Pars are like gold.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like the fourth flight back, or because what flight are you guys?
I think we were the fourth last year.
So your flight and back, like pars win. Mm-hmm. Like the first 3 flights, like third flight maybe par might win a hole, but the first 2 flights, like pars aren't winning holes. Like unless it's a net birdie, like then maybe, but like. You par a par 5 that no one's getting shots on, like you're not winning that hole, like for the most part, unless both people nuke the hole. But yeah, it's funny how different the flights are. Like from like and even I would say like from 4 to 7 is very different than like 8 to 10. You know what I mean?
Right. I think in 4, maybe 4, 5, and 6, I think par. You will never lose a hole with a par.
No.
It's rare. I mean...
Like, there might be one instance or 2 instances.
Right. I mean, like, last year we made a few birdies here and there, and I'm sure we won those holes against some pars. But, yeah, for the most part, it's not... You don't have guys coming out there and making, 3 and 4 birdies and, like, gross birdies in 9 holes. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the great thing about the tournament is there's enough guys in it that... It's able to be flighted and it's able to do this where you have all these different levels of golfers that like, hey, you can go out and you can win. Like you can win a match.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
At any handicap, you can go and you can win a match. So,
but we're on a 2-year drought from the shootout. We have a 9-2-2 record. Like it's not bad. Mm-hmm. And we never lost. We've never lost the 2 matches we've lost was not in the same year. They were in 2 separate years, and it was 5-4. We lost by a half point. It wasn't like we got absolutely blown out or anything like that. And honestly, we even caught a buzzsaw last year, and we ended up barely winning that match. So we've shown our abilities to win any type of match, right? Like whether it's going to be a birdie fest or it's going to be, a slugfest. Like but a 9-2-2 record and 3. Well, I guess this will be our 4th year. Not bad. And I think if you showed that record to most people, and they'd be like, "You've been in every shootout." And it's like, no, we've only been in 1. So in 3 years.
Well, that first year you were what, 4-0-1 or 5-0?
Yeah, we tied one. We tied like our second match on Saturday, but we won our other 4.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it is hard in the first flight because it's so. I guess I should say it's easy if you lose a match in the first flight, as long as there's not like another blowout. Mm-hmm. Like you can lose a flight and you're like a half point down, or whatever it might be. Like you can, if you lose a match in like the 8th flight or something, like you might be dead. Like you literally might be dead. But that first flight, like even if you lose a match, you kind of just be like, all right, we lost our first match last year, 5-4, but we were like, look, long day, we're we're only down by a point. The other matches were like 5-4, 6-3. Like, there was no like gigantic blowouts. So, but
Yeah.
if you showed that record to most people, they'd probably think we've been in more shootouts, but no, that's not the case. So
you and Ryan have one extra year on Guenth and I. We are 7-0-1 in match play. Love to see that.
Pretty good.
I think the thing we do, and correct me if I'm wrong, that I think is our superpower is like we treat it literally as 45 individual matches. Like straight up. There's 45 holes in match play. Each one is its own thing we're trying to win.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how we get there. We ham and egg the shit out of it if we have to.
And that's a good way to look at it because you truly cannot look at I've won matches being down 2 points. We've lost a match that we were up 1.5 points on. You have to it's every hole. There's so many holes to be played that you cannot look at like the next match or this. You have to look at every hole individually. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think the 7-0-1. I think the one is the one that was our first match.
Our very first match together. Shout out Carl.
Shout out.
It was
Big
against
shout
Carl.
out Carl Karlstrom.
Yeah.
The car wash.
He's the man. But yeah, no, that's the name of the game is just being able to flush it and move on to the next one. I think last year I put a hole in the steering wheel. After one,
R.I.P. to those carts are gone.
I think I 3-putted one of the holes and let it out. Had some hate in my heart, and I let it out, and we moved on, and we came back. So that's you just got to flush it and move on.
All right. So predictions. See you in the shootout.
There's so many guys that listen to it out there. I'm not going to be, but I feel like the way I'm hitting the ball, like we've got a good chance, to make the shootout. Like the shootout's it's a crap fest.
Absolutely.
Like you could be playing the best golf, bar none, and get in the shootout and lose on the first hole. Like you just can. Like, but I like our chances in our flight. I mean, I think we're both playing really good, and I feel like how my rounds of the last 2 weeks and Ryan's rounds, we forgot to mention this. We had a match on Friday and we 6-5'd, the team. So I think we're 10 under. We're net 10 under through 12 holes. Like that gets it done in any flight.
That'll work.
That gets it done in any flight. So I like our chances. I'm not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna win. Like, but I do really, really, really like our chances to make the shootout this year. So
yeah, and again, no disrespect to anyone. Obviously, everybody wants to make a shootout. That's why we're playing in the event.
Yeah, 100%.
That's first and foremost the goal.
Yeah,
and then from there we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and
try to win.
Look, we could run into a buzzsaw, right? There's a lot of good players in that first flight. Wes Fiddler, who is a new Elk this year, I mean, he played in our 4th of July tournament. He shot 65. Now, he is playing with a guy that's cutting his handicap down by 5 shots, which could be problematic. When you think of them playing us, and it's like me and him are out some holes, and it's like you have him and Ryan against each other. Like, love Sammy to death, but you're a 12, get cut down to a 7. Ryan's like a pretty good 6,
If Ryan's playing the way he did this past week.
Yeah, I like our chances with my boy going against, but there's good players in the fight, and there's a chance that Wes could go out and shoot 32 in our match against them, and because they're definitely going to be in our flight. So, but no, I like our chances.
Yeah, we are. I haven't looked at the forecast. Please God.
Sunday. There's a chance for rain on Saturday, but I think Sunday's supposed to be perfect.
Awesome.
As of now.
I don't think I've experienced a non-weather impacted Stampede.
No, it's been. Yeah. I'm even trying to think. Our first year playing in it. No, I think we had some rain that day. Because we had it. Yeah,
we had a massive downpour. I was looking.
Yeah, right before the shoot, or right when we got on, near the first green of the shootout.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And we pulled the cart up under the cover and had the keg on the back.
And I told myself, I sat down in the cart barn. I was like, I'm not going up there. If I go up there, I'm going to be too hammered to play.
Yeah.
Self-control. Shout out to you for that.
Self-control.
Shout out. All right.
I pop another beer open.
Yeah.
And then predictions, on our end, I think that, we're just going to go out. We're going to concentrate. We're going to try to make it a 45-hole match. They're 45 matches in themselves, and we'll see where the chips fall, and we'll go from there. Good Lord willing, we'll end up in the Stampede.
It'll be a new experience. Obviously, look, we won last year. Neither of us had our target on the back for anything.
It's a different,
but I love
different ball game.
It's like, to me, it's like now that we've proved it that we can do it. That pressure's gone now for me.
But it just feels like people want to play better against you when you've got one. Like, especially recently. Like, I know Cody won in 19. Like, ever since then, like, everybody in his flight, they want to beat the shit out of him. They do. Like, they play harder. Now, will that be good in golf? I don't know. But, like, they focus more on Cody's match because he's got a target on your back,
And that's, what is that, the Rex Ryan from Hard Knocks, where he's like, I want the target on our back,
Yeah.
Now let's have a snack. It's like an all-time Rex Ryan. So.
No, it's a little different playing with the target on your back. But, yeah, it's going to be so awesome. Man, this is like... I mean, you send it out today. You're like, welcome to Stampede Week 2023. It is, bar none, my favorite weekend of the year. Not even remotely close.
It'll be a dinger.
Christmas, take a back seat. I said it.
Well,
Hot take. Spicy.
You said
spicy.
4th of July was your favorite holiday.
It's my favorite holiday. It's not my favorite week.
There you go. I just wanted it on the record.
Yeah. This is my favorite week.
It's on the record.
Like, I root getting past the 4th of July because I know what's coming up very soon after that.
Exactly.
I love that.
All right, before we move off the Stampede real quick, do you have any moments that stand out from your 2020 win? Like, what's like the defining moment for you?
So Ryan made a putt on our first extra hole in the finals. And before he hit it, I told him, I said, if you lift your head on this left to right putt, I'm going to punch you in the face. And then he made it.
Yeah.
And he had not made a left to right putt the entire weekend. And he will verify that. He did not make a left to right putt the entire weekend. And he had a putt breaking like 3 or 4 inches left to right. That was a cool one. I mean, that's probably...
Well, then I ran onto the green and just absolutely doused both of you in beers.
Yes, yeah. The next hole, he made like an 8-foot birdie putt left to right. He made 2 in a row. He hadn't made one all weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't know. For, like, personally, me, we had a match 2 years ago that I should have shot 30. I think I ended up shooting 32. I should have shot 30. Like, I had 2 bogeys and shot 32. So, that was, like, personally, for me, that was a, like, and I think it was our largest victory. I think we 6.5, 2.5 somebody. And that's doing a lot in the first flight, if you can do that to somebody. So personally, that was my favorite.
I'll jump in. For me... This might surprise you, Guenth. So I know you talked about the wedge you hit in on 1 white, our third shootout hole last year. The moment when I was like, shit, we're going to win, was on 9 red, the hole before that. I snapped a drive left, had a hit up and tried to get up and down for par, didn't do it. You had like 35, 40 feet from the front right of that green to the back left. Mm-hmm. Left it maybe 5 feet short. And just smooth in a putt that broke like 6 inches.
On the hole you chunked the putt the previous year, you smoothed that 5-footer out.
And I was like...
Exercising demons.
Demons exercise.
Oh, they were gone.
Yeah.
The kid just had the look in his eyes, and I was like, I'm going to ride this
saddle up, boy.
all the way home.
Mitch he's like, I don't need my driver anymore. I'm going to pull the saddle out of the bag and just put it right on Gunt's back.
It was a weird thing. I had never... In anything athletic.
You went God mode with putter.
Yeah, you did.
Anything athletically, I've never been confident, but I remember, I just remember feeling like, I think because on 9 white, the hole that we won it on, I hit my drive on the cart path. I had to take cart path relief on 9 red. Like, I had I was on the other hole.
We also had like a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, it was,
the rain was pissing on us.
Brutal.
It was horrible.
But I just remember thinking, I think I may have told you, hey, if you can make a birdie, do it. I'm in for par already. I've never had, and it's a weird thing in my life. I've never had that confidence in anything else, but just it was a great time for it to happen. But that was the one time.
Your favorite moment's 2 holes. Essentially,
yeah. I mean, it was that whole stretch where I was just super confident. I think on the first Stampede hole, I think I left myself I think I had about a 30-footer for birdie, and then I left myself about 10 feet for par. Like, it was a horrible putt.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I made that, and then after
Yeah.
that, it was just like this weird confidence
Yeah,
that I've never had.
You see one go, you're a shooter. You see one go in.
And not even just that. Like, you won us 4 holes, but you also won us 2 chip-offs. I mean, I was pretty much useless in this particular shootout.
Hey, join the club, pal. Hey, hit me, give me some.
Yeah,
I was pretty
sometimes
much
you have to.
I was
Well, we
pretty
wouldn't
much
have-
useless in our shootout too. I mean, like I had some moments where I hit some good shots, but like for the most part, like it was like I won one of the chip offs, but like Ryan gets a pop on. Like he kind of carried us a little bit in the shootout, so I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And we get done, and like everyone's like he carried you. I'm like, fuck yeah, he did. I'm like, I'm not going to deny that. Doesn't make me any poorer. Actually, made me richer. So I don't really care.
No, I can't tell you how many people came up to me after and was like, man, that's a hell of a partner you got there.
Well,
Yeah.
and the thing is like everybody's watching that. Nobody realizes that like I didn't break bogey golf until the Stampede.
I think that was the
Like,
most
those are my
impressive
first
part.
pars.
Is like you didn't play well the whole weekend, and then you played well in that.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. I think
Yeah.
the chunked putt the year before,
You're
when
like,
you
this
when
is-
you fat a
you gotta
putt,
redeem. You gotta
you catch a putt a little fat.
a little. The thing went like a foot.
20-footer goes a foot. I think people start to realize, like, oh, it's catching
All right,
the pressure's
yeah.
getting to him a little bit. But no, I mean, Mitch, you got us to the Stampede, and then I just caught a heater, and you never walk away from a heater.
No.
Never.
I mean, it was. That was
Like,
a
I feel like
blast.
you would have
That was a
played like 30 more holes that day if you could have. Like,
yes, wouldn't have stopped. And then people forget, went up, won a dice game. There was like 30 people in. It was like a $200.
Yeah, that was-
won a dice game. We had just gotten lucky. I think
Yeah,
that's all it was.
yeah.
Just got lucky. So
We'll see, I guess.
This is a tough transition, but because that was so fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But speaking of heaters, Sepp Straka had
Holy
one yesterday.
shit.
yes, he did.
I remember texting you, I was like 28 front nine. That's fucking sick. Like
When-
28.
The guy shot 62 and double bogeyed the last hole of the tournament.
Good God.
Yeah. So, yeah, Sepp Straka won the John Deere Classic.
And moving on. I'm just kidding. No.
And
No,
that's about all
our
we have
boy
to
had
say.
a good tournament.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
so-
let's get to that because that's important. We're
Real
going to go
quick.
down.
Real quick, a couple just notables. These are Ryder Cup implications only. That's why I bring them up.
Yeah, Ludwig has probably nailed his spot into the European team. I would
Ludwig
guess.
is ascending for sure. He shot 63 to finish T4.
A European team
Hey,
coming
Texas,
together.
Could be frisky.
Texas Tech Red Raider right there too. By the way, hey, I wore my shirt today. My golfing gaucho shirt today. Just shout out to Texas Tech. They're my second favorite college in America, by the way, or third.
That was a
Love
nice
Texas
catch.
Tech.
Nice catch on your
Nice
part.
catch.
Love
there.
Texas Tech. Great,
So,
great college town too. By the way,
Real quick,
go
quick,
Gons.
30 seconds because I think we've taken a while on everything else. But top 3 go. Number 1 is
Ohio State,
number 2 is
Kentucky,
number 3 is
Texas Tech.
wow.
Can't even list Tiffin in your top 3.
Go
Hey, I'm
Gons,
talking.
dude.
They're always number one in my heart, but I'm talking about like major college sports.
Sure. Okay.
Major college sport. I mean, we do have a Super Bowl winner, but well, that's neither here nor there. We do have a Super Bowl ring, and we have multiple NFL players.
So anyway, Cam Young.
Yeah.
All right.
Ludwig,
Uh,
Texas Tech, Red Raider.
Yeah, Cam Young had the 36-hole lead and did not do anything on Saturday. Not great.
Not a
all
big Cam
around.
Young fan. We've talked about this. Just not. It just doesn't do it for me. And they're like he's still qualified for the Ryder Cup. I'm like, if that dude's on the Ryder Cup, I want him playing one match, and it might be a singles match.
I don't think he is anymore on points, so I mean, we'll see how that shakes out. But I like to have options. So if he heats up, I'm cool with him heating up. Now, what you were talking about, our guy, Kevin Roy,
Yep, and Jay out
Jay.
there. Great Friday round.
official caddy of the back 9 6-pack.
Yes.
As a fan of the back 9 6-pack, getting to come in and talk about it, what an awesome dude.
Yeah.
What an awesome dude.
Jay's
The cat-
awesome.
Jay is the man, dude.
We've got
He was awesome to listen
hold on.
to.
Breaking news
Breaking.
or moose.
Pardon my take.
Kevin's doing the putter switch this week. Got a Snapchat from Jay today. it sounds like he's going to the Ricky putt. It's hot right now.
The nice chocolate.
And when is
swirl.
Odyssey going to
Nice.
make that putter again? Because I don't think they actually make it. I don't think they manufacture it anymore.
Oh, they would just be dumb not to because they're
Like,
gonna
at this
sell
point,
a
like-
They
million
make
of
so
them.
much money manufacturing.
Like, I might even buy one just to say I bought one, to be honest. But yeah, so he had a good Friday.
Round
maybe
263, absolutely striping the
Yeah.
ball.
And I think when he didn't play well, I think it was just the putter. Like, he was hitting stuff in range, right? On Friday they dropped. On Saturday, a couple dropped. But Sunday
did not
not so
drop.
much. Yeah.
But cash the top 40 bet for me because
Well,
it's for the brand. Got a
Top
better
T31. And
Love
we'll
that.
see them in 3 days.
I haven't checked this afternoon, but tea time's out tomorrow, maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
Please, God,
For a morning tea time.
give us some morning tea time.
Get up early, get us some Dunkin' Donuts, drive down, watch the guys. I'm gonna say over under 65 on Thursday when we're there. I just feel like the vibes that we're gonna have in the crowd they're gonna carry us to the finish line.
Lunch plans?
Look, shout out Nick Gray. So this week is Cincinnati Burger Week, I believe, or maybe next week. It's Lexington Burger Week this week.
Wow.
Need a morning tea time
Yes.
Need it.
We need a lunch.
because
I've told you about my schedule in the evening. Like, I've got to
Right.
be home by a certain time. Even though we're both going to be kidless, I've got to be home to pick up my dog kid. You know that feeling.
I
Gus,
do.
shout out
I
Gus.
do. As a father
Um,
of Gus.
But yeah, God, we need a morning tea time on Thursday. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, the best
Morning
way things
tea
to
time.
go. We'll
So-
be there either way, but would love to see a morning tea time. Got one at John Deere this week. Don't know how that shakes
Let's
out,
hope.
but that's where we're at.
If you guys can't do anything, please just at least swing by Stagger Inn for me. Tell them I said hi. Tell them old Guenth sent you.
Oh God.
I mean, that place,
I don't-
heaven on earth.
If we go to Stagger Inn, nobody would be making it home on.
You're
on
going to have to
Thursday.
be picking up Hogan for it.
Yeah,
That's
you're like,
gonna happen.
all right, go get him. Him and Gus will get along perfectly fine. I promise.
Yeah.
But no, but I felt like they had a good week this week. Now we're shooting top 5 this week.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Who needed the back 9-6 back this week? I admittedly, look, scores were low this week. There wasn't much out there. Before I go ahead and bury who's on the list that I think should get it, I was doing my research. Anders Larson. You heard of this kid?
You said you put that on there. I have no idea.
Okay. I saw he shot 82, and I was ready to, in round 2, and I was like, oh, for sure, this is who wins. He's 19, not legal. Can't give him the 6-pack.
No.
Also, I believe he plays at Tennessee Tech. He's a sophomore there from Minnesota. He had to
Shout out Eagles.
shout out. He had to qualify for the Monday qualifier.
So he did a pre-Q.
Pre-Q,
Then
then
the Monday
Monday
Q.
qualified into the
Yeah,
tournament.
you can't give it to him.
Just wanted to shout him out as that's awesome. Happy
Yeah,
to
you
see
can't
him
do it. Like,
Just happy to be here.
Yeah, he shot
Yeah.
one over in the first round, had a bad second round. That
yeah,
happens.
can't do it to him though. Like, you
But
go through a
man.
pre-qualifier and then a Monday qualifier, and I don't know if anybody else follows the Monday Q guy on Twitter.
Great
Those
follow.
Monday qualifiers are fucking stupid. Like, you have to shoot 64 or 65 to get out. Almost every time. Sometimes it's 63. So we can't give it to a guy that probably shot 64 or 65.
I think he shot 65. It was not at the course. It was
No, it's at a
offsite,
different course, yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to shout him out. Who I do want to give it to, because this is always I
don't like
laser-
quitters on here.
Exactly, we do not like quitters. Scott Piercy shoots 76 in round 1. Round 2, he shoots 35. WD at the turn.
Yeah. No, you're getting it. Like I said, we don't like quitters. I didn't quit today. I could have. Had my shirt off in the car. Could
And
have
you
just
played twice as many
packed
holes.
it in. Yeah.
Shirt off in the car, stretching on.
Yeah, I could have easily just
It was a
packed
tough
it in.
scene.
Just
a
packed
tough
it in.
scene.
But yeah, you don't quit.
Yeah, wasn't the highest score of the week by any means, but
You don't quit.
yeah. Scott Piercy, you're getting the back 9-6 back.
Suck it.
You should have gotten the back 9-6 back.
Yeah. Yeah. He would have at least finished.
Yeah,
He wasn't making the cut, but he at least finished.
for sure.
All right. Next week, we already went over Barbasol.
We talked about Barbasol. Gonna be
Scottish
last.
Open. We don't know really who's in the field for the Scottish.
Renaissance Club was interesting to watch last year. Not like a super.
I mean, it should be a pretty loaded field, I would imagine. With the Barbasol here, like
yeah, they set it up so the guys go over there to play
100%
before the Open. So next week's the Open, we'll have a much bigger actual golf preview and a recap of maybe one of us winning the same.
Yeah,
game, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Would be fun. Speaking of fun,
anything goes on the patio. It's time.
It's time. Anything goes on the patio.
Tis
We have a
the
special
season.
guest. Do we need to let?
I think we're gonna let the guests go first.
Sure. You get the honors.
All right, so big shout out to Chandler Morrison. I mean, she is just
I mean, she's a queen.
yeah, she's
She's
a
a queen.
legend of the game. She helped me come up with this question. We had a couple different questions that we were toying around with. You
She
know.
came in with the hammer and
She
said, "This is
came
what
in
we're
with the
doing."
hammer. She started off with like best Cincinnati-based food chain, and the answer is obviously just
Skyline.
Skyline Chili. We
Yeah.
all answer the same. But then it became who would be if you were running a podcast, which you two are. I'm not. Who would be your white whale to get on this podcast?
Man, that's a good one.
Again,
Like,
shout out to the Chanimal.
man, I mean, the obvious answers, but like doable, like gettable, or just like
Here's the thing. I know what you're
like because
I know
here's
who
the
it
thing
is.
is like obviously Tiger Woods,
Correct.
but like he doesn't.
Has he ever done a podcast?
I don't
ever?
know.
I'm surprised you didn't come in hot with the Kevin Kisner.
Okay,
right off
so
the
I'm
bat.
getting there. Hold on.
Okay.
So that would be like up there, but like honestly, swear to God, like with everything going on, I would want to get Jay Monahan on here and fucking roast that motherfucker.
Good
like-
God.
Jeez. Holy smoke.
Like roast him. Like I want him on here catching fucking fire from me. Like that would be man, that's a tough number one. Maybe it's just I guess right now that would be my number one. But obviously Kevin Kisner. Like getting the talk.
Kiz?
Yeah.
His is number one.
He's a good talk too. Like he's a good interview. Like he's
a good
not gonna put a
right.
filter on. Like he's not gonna give you the canned answers. Like I think it would be in whole a really good interview. Like he's been on a lot of podcasts and stuff. And like every time, I think if we're talking like outside of the Jay Monahan thing, a close second would be Joel Damon and Gino.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to boo weekly on us.
Yeah, Boo. I mean, Boo would be fun. Don't get me wrong, but like as far as like a Joel Damon and Gino together because they've already done a podcast and we've talked about it. It was fucking hilarious, and they just have a lot to talk about, and they're just good dudes. Like that would be probably a close second, I think.
Okay.
I think there's one white whale, and because I don't think anybody's heard from him in a long, long time, Anthony Kim.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one.
Anthony Kim.
Damn,
I
and
think-
we know how much we love that guy.
If we got Anthony Kim and no one else did, we would blow
I would
up.
oh like
To back on six back to the moon at that point.
he's like he's a gambler. Like he's a man's man. Like and he's just honestly one of the outside of Tiger Woods probably the best golfing talent, American golfing talent in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And that includes guys like Spieth and
I was going to say
JT
my honorable mentions. I got it.
like he just never had
King, Rory
Arcane.
McIlroy.
But like
love it.
Anthony Kim was like one of the best golfing talents in the last 30 years. Like he just never got to show it because he injured some issues in there. But yeah, that
also,
would be a
you know
good
what?
one.
You know who would be just an electric factory? Even though I disagree with everything this guy has done for the last few years, Phil Mickelson.
Oh yeah.
He'd
Just
be a good
the-
Yeah,
one.
because again, he would.
the
He's
absurdity.
kind of like gone into the like no filter thing. Like he would
Yeah.
come on and like he would not have a filter on at all.
All right. So
That
you
was
have
a
to
good
answer
one.
your own question.
Yeah,
right?
you got to answer your own question. You got to.
So here's the thing, and I think this guy transcends like sport in general.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think you're white whale because again, just like you said with Tiger Woods, like doesn't do podcasts. I think you go Michael Jordan.
Because he is a golfer.
The Grove XIII XXIII, sorry.
Correct.
I think that having him on the pod would just be like, obviously, like Michael Jordan does something, people pay attention.
Yeah.
But I think when you add in like his golf, and then you could kind of bring up the Air Keegan story,
okay,
I think you could bring those things in.
Shout out Michael Jordan bigly. We were team 23 last year, cart 45.
No.
People forget. People forget about that.
And you guys know, because I wear them all the time. Like big Jordan golf fan.
No sprained ankles.
No sprained ankles in those high tops this year.
So,
I only wore them for one round, and it was my best round today. I wore the low tops first, and then I went to
shoes.
the... Yeah.
You had to change shoes with the polo. So
yeah.
I think that Michael Jordan, I would want to just like...
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't ask to take a picture because apparently that's like...
He doesn't...
The story is that's like... If you ask to take a picture with him, he is just like...
It turned off immediately. Yeah, I've heard that.
We're not cool anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's mine.
Yeah, right. I do like that. I like that. Go ahead, Mitch. I'll let you
Shout
go.
out to Chandler for that.
That was a great question.
Big shout out to
Great
Chandler.
question.
Like I said,
always.
Great
your better
question.
half.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to ask this only because I know, Guenth, you found yourself in a scenario like this recently.
Oh, God.
At a wedding. Would you rather be chronically underdressed or overdressed?
I'm going to take this one.
Thank you.
Because I've been in this scenario. And I've been overdressed before. Like, I've showed up to something in, like, tie, suit, and no one else was wearing this. Overdressed is better. Like, it just is.
Wrong.
No. I know the situation that we're talking about here, but there's nothing like feeling like you're fucking like, oh, who has he, like, oh, this is his first day out of the barn.
Who brought the garbage?
Yeah, who brought the garbage? If you overdress, you're like, that's a motherfucking peacock right there.
Okay, but I'm not saying you're like dumpy underdressed. You're just underdressed. Right?
I know, but if you're at a whatever, I was going to say situation, but if you are at an event, like, I've always been taught to be overdressed.
So,
like, peacock the fucking shit out of that place. Like,
all
if
right.
you're all in polos and I'm suiting around, looking fucking goddamn delicious, like...
I mean, straight up, I could live the rest of my life in, like, golf shorts and a golf
Oh, I
polo.
mean, dude,
like,
that's all I wear to work every day
Right.
in the summer. I don't wear pants in the summer. I just don't. It's a rule of mine.
So
Trust me.
Two things. I feel like, okay, what are the texts you send your buddies when you're all going to an event? Like,
What is that?
Are
Yeah.
you wearing a tie? Are you wearing a jacket?
Yeah,
Like, right?
it
You're never
is.
asking them, like, are you wearing shorts? Are you wearing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think dressing up, there's like a certain barrier. You're like extending past a certain barrier to dress up.
Correct. Yes.
Also, I forgot the second point already, but I had one.
Shout out to the Buffalo Trace.
Shout out to the Buffalo Trace. Good God, I straight up lost it.
It's okay. I think the reason this was brought up, I was at a wedding recently down in Virginia Beach. Shout out Virginia Beach. A lot of airbrush t-shirt places down there. Which, but
it leads a certain stench.
It does. It does. But we go to this wedding, and I find out when I get there that it's black tie optional. I don't know what that means. I have the option to go fully classy, or I don't have, like, it's optional. So, I was no tie. I had one button unbuttoned at the beginning, and as we go through the night, it becomes 2 buttons, and the open bar becomes 3 buttons, and you go. Eventually, it just becomes
exactly
a jacket.
You just reminded me of my second point.
Okay, thank you.
If you do fully dress up, like say you're going to a wedding, how quickly is the jacket off? The tie's
After the
done,
ceremony,
you're unbuttoned?
it's after like the second beer. I'm loosening the tie after the second beer. 4th beer, tie's gone. 9th beer, the jacket and the tie is gone.
Your 3 buttons,
and then I'm like at least 2 buttons down.
Also, I think there's a connotation to being overdressed. It's like Look at that nerd.
Yeah, you're peacocking the room is what you're doing.
I feel like our boy Mark Cuban, which would be an awesome guest on the pod, going back to my question. I think at one point he tweeted something out like, if you go into a room full of guys with suits, the most important man is in a t-shirt. If you go into a room full of guys with t-shirts, the most important man is in a suit. I think that is like going back to this question.
Actually, I like that quote. Yeah.
I think that's
so you want to be the opposite.
Like there is something to be said about like when you walk into a room, like you're like, I don't really care what I'm wearing, but like I'm fucking here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's it exactly. Yeah. So I would rather be overdressed.
Okay. I mean,
I'm underdressed.
Being the guy that is historically
the most influential entrepreneur in our lifetime, probably in the history of the world, for what he invented and what he created. I mean, Steve Jobs wore a fucking turtleneck and jeans every day.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't peacocking anywhere with that thing.
Shout out to that nerd turtleneck. Yeah. But no, I think that the move is to be overdressed because it's really, until you become a billionaire, it's really uncomfortable to be
that's true.
Underdressed.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll say underdressed, but I know Susie will roast me because she's going to say that I like dress beyond what is required.
I typically always dress beyond what's required. Yeah.
And big shout out Susie. Big shout out Susie as well. She's one of the cool ones. She just
wants to be married to a peacock.
And also, big shout out Danielle. She doesn't listen, but my God, what she goes through.
She'll never hear this.
She'll never hear it.
But what she goes through,
it's
big shouts.
It's truly the Lord's word.
It is. She has a lot of Jesus in her heart. Let's just put it that way. And I say that leading into my question because it is time to answer this question.
Oh no!
And I couldn't be with just you here.
I'm just a guest.
Do you stand up or sit down when you wipe after you poop?
Well, I thought we've covered this.
No, we have not. No, we have not. We covered it in a text, but this needs to be in public. This has to be in public.
I appreciate you guys being polite, and as a guest, I will go first. You sit down, and if you stand up, you are wrong. You are wrong.
There are people that stand up.
Okay.
There are psychos out in the world.
Are we sure they're people?
There are psychos, and one of them just happens to be our friend who stands up when he wipes.
I truly hope that the three of us are all on the same page here.
Yeah, 100%. Like you.
Yeah, at most it's a lean, right?
Yeah, like at the very most.
Gotta get an angle sometimes.
But this came up, so let's give the background to the story behind this question because I think that needs to be said. So
you don't have to bury anybody.
I'm not going to bury anybody by name. Not going to do it.
But it rhymes with
wrinkle. So I'm down in Texas for Christmas, and we're sitting around. I remember, I think this is when we were in Lubbock. I had a few drinks, and like this comes up. Like we're sitting around, and my sister-in-law goes, "We've asked everybody else in the room. I just walked in. Like, do you sit down or stand up when you wipe?" And I'm like, sit down. I apparently offended like 4 or 5 people in the room. They're like, "What do you?" There's no right way to do it. I'm like, no, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And what you are doing is wrong. You do not stand up. The technique is not as good if you're standing up. It just isn't.
From a scientific standpoint, that was it. I taught
you're a science teacher.
Yeah. So
this is a reliable source right here.
From an anatomical standpoint, when you stand up, the gluteus maximus comes together and it pinches the cheeks together. And that's going to spread. You
can't get the proper. You can't get the proper
your
wipe.
Your WJ becomes a lot harder. The wipe job becomes a lot harder, and so we're trying to save the planet. We want to go as minimal TP as we can.
Yeah.
And
so when I heard this question in person, I sent it out to our group text because Danielle was like, "You gotta get everybody else's opinion on this." I believe said person was the first one to answer in this group text. And he said, "I stand up." like everybody else was going to agree with him. And then everybody buried him.
And then he quickly walked it back.
And he
like,
goes,
I'm
I'm
joking."
just kidding. Like, why would I stand up? And I'm like, you were the first one to answer. You definitely stand up.
You're redacting.
And I think he might have changed since then, hopefully.
I hope.
For the toilet paper standpoint and
Look, and you
just
love to see that. You got to
for
be open to
alien
change.
and
civilization
Yeah.
in general, I hope he's changed.
Sure. Yeah.
But just so everybody knows, there are psychos out there that stand up. And
Mitch, you haven't answered yet. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that
Oh,
you're-
no.
He's pretty quiet over there.
No, I
He
said
hasn't talked much.
I said at most a hover. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like, a
a hover, a
bathroom.
lean, a something. You
Now,
know.
there's sometimes, like, you get in a bathroom. Like, I've been in some gas station bathrooms. I'm like, I'm not.
We're gonna
Nothing's
stand.
touching. Nothing's touching
you
here.
need minimal contact in
Yeah.
that situation. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's definitely bathroom dependent too.
Mhm.
Like if it's like a hover or like a lean, you don't want your hand touching the dirty toilet seat, stuff like that. But the important stuff in life.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're officially on the record now. Thank you for
Yeah,
asking. The
it had to be. We had to be officially on the record.
There's just no way to transition to closing from there. Shout out Guenth. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. Anytime you need somebody to come and fill in,
I thought Danielle was going to show up tonight because you were going to be here. I was like, yeah, Gunn's sitting in.
you just let me know. You
They're
just let me know.
different energy. It was, some would say electric, possibly going through electric.
Yeah.
Maybe some night auditing.
Big shout out, Bill. Bill Guenth.
Shout out, Bill.
Shout out, Linda Guenth.
Oh,
Ferda. They're both Ferda.
the best.
Yeah.
Shout out to airplanes. Me and you are going to be kidless this week.
Yeah, this isn't. I'm gonna have to pick your brain a little bit. I've not experienced this week with without family.
Let me give you just a quick
What a-
rundown, like on what my life's like. So I get up in the morning, I'm like no one else to do. I go into work early. And then I might take a dinner date. Like someone goes, "Hey, you want to go to dinner here?" Yeah, I'll go to dinner there. I ain't got no one else to worry about. I just kind of live life like I don't have any kids. I love my kids to death, but like I stay out until 8:00, 7:30. I don't have to be home right away.
Whoa.
Don't want to get too crazy.
7:30.
It is
Oh,
it is
man.
Stampede week.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
keep it in the
But
on the
no,
rails.
you just gotta like the things that you're not used to doing. You just gotta do. Like you don't probably go out to dinner at 7:00 at night. Like go do that. Like that's. I just do things like you want to have a happy hour that drags into 6:30. I'm here for it. Like
We don't
typically,
need to
I'm
do
usually out at happy hours by 5:00.
We don't need to do this. I need to keep Mitch at 100%.
Yeah.
This week.
I'll tell you. Hey,
That's-
good vibes though. The first time I sent them out of town for the Stampede, we won.
Yeah.
So
I'd be
I
fine
mean, it
with
hasn't
We
worked
like
out
that.
the last couple of years, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, but we're gonna be kidless.
Just keep it between the mustard and mayo this week.
So we'll try to figure out some sort of slumber party situation that the three of us.
Hey, I got-
and shout out Ryan. Ryan's more than welcome, but we'll try to figure out some sort of slumber party
I-
situation. that
I've
we
got
can all-
you've got rooms. I've got rooms.
Yeah, you got a
We've
spare
got
bathroom
rooms.
for all of us that we can all use. And
And sit down while we wait.
Yes.
And on that note,
Oh.
shout out 2023 Stampede Week.
Yes.
It starts now.
Course is looking dialed.
Dialed.
Did you see the pictures today? Looking dialed.
I'm trying to get us out of here, and you just
Oh,
keep
sorry.
extending. Just,
Yeah.
Back 9 6-pack fans, I'll see you next year. Stampede Week.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
back
exactly.
next year.
He'll
He's
be
our
back.
official Stampede Week guest.
All right. Well, on that note, everybody.
Oh.
What?
Okay, now you can go.
Oh my God! Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 6-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 6-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.